Hello, my dear mindfulness explorers. Today we are going to have a not so fun conversation with Mr. Siddhesh Wagle. He's a tech expert passionate about using AI for positive change. Founder of Systems Tree, Siddhesh's vision is to create a sustainable world by applying systems thinking to create sustainable tech. He also helps individuals and corporations to build and realize their vision. Siddhesh is a climate poet who uses his creativity to raise awareness about environmental issues. That said, we are not going to talk about Siddhesh's amazing achievements and a great story of his entrepreneurship. We are going to talk about something he has been battling with all his life, a chronic pain that Siddhesh had since childhood. He has found innovative techniques to manage it and has agreed to share with us his secrets. One, two, three, four. Thank you, Siddhesh, for agreeing for this talk. Can you share a bit about your journey with chronic pain? How long have you been dealing with it?
Thank you, Neha, so much. First of all, I would like to thank you for starting this. If I would have got such a podcast, maybe, 20, 15, 20 years, I would have got a lot of help. So it's very much needed. So thank you for that. Uh, so my, so I think I have chronic pain since I was born. So since I have
Mm-hmm.
started realizing, at least the pain is there since my birth. It's in the abdomen. It is continuous 24/7. It recently had a diagnosis, and it is called acute cutaneous nerve entrapment syndrome, which is ACNES. So in it, the nerves get trapped in the uh, abdominal walls, because of which the pain occurs 24/7. So yeah, so it's a long battle. I'm dealing with that pain, you can say, since my childhood.
That's really very, when you're saying it, I'm feeling like, oh my god, how has Siddesh been able to manage this in all his life?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's To be honest, it's not easy, because first of all, the awareness is not there, and not many know, not even doctors or specialists know about this specific. So I never got an accurate diagnosis for many years, and my entire life went around jumping from one doctor to another, from one hospital to another. And fortunately, my I had the support of my parents, so they believed in my pain. But that has certain advantages and disadvantages also, because like, when the belief is too strong, right, you try to solve that problem.
Mhm.
And if there is no accurate diagnosis, and if the doctors are not aware what it is, then you are they also, the doctors feel that they can solve the problem, right? So they will just give you random test and random to find out the problem. They will take it as a challenge to solve it. And but they don't know what it is, right? So you just have to jump from one doctor to another, one test to another, right? So they're taking different treatments. So yeah, that is a I think that is of a more of a struggle than the pain itself. It becomes a challenge. Yeah.
I can't even begin to imagine that, Siddesh. I remember you mentioned that you also tried some alternative approaches. One thing that you said was that you try to dissociate from the pain. How did you discover it? What do you do there?
Yeah, so basically, I was introduced to the technique of Anapana by my sister, which is
Mhm.
a meditation technique in Vipassana, where you continuously focus on the breathing. I will say more of observe the breathing, right? You become a silent observer of your breathing, the breathing movements. You don't control the breathing. So that is a very difficult practice for a chronic practitioner to start with, because your entire attention is towards your pain, right? And that is
Mhm.
what happens. So also, what happens is, since you are continuously facing the pain, over a period of time, your emotions are attached to the pain, right? So whatever, if you're facing that pain continuously, uh, all the negative emotions, they're tightly coupled with the pain. You are continuously thinking about the pain, and you get irritated, frustrated, anger is there, right? You are continuously angry. So what Anapana did for me, at least it, you know, asked me to look at things without any judgment, right? So it started with looking at observing breathing, for example. So the only task you have to do is observe the breathing, and without any judgment, without any thought. So even if a thought comes while you're observing the breathing, or something comes in your brain, you just observe that also, and you just leave it, again focus on the breathing, because continuously focus on the breathing is takes years and years to master. And irony is that
So
we,
it,
right, conti- breathing is with us for 24 by 7, right? It's there always, but we never observe. It's like my pain, it is there, but in pain's case, I'm observing it, but I'm not observing the breathing.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So you are doing this 24/7. You're being mindful
No,
24/7.
no,
Is
no.
that so?
No, not now. I'm saying about, so what happened, I started this, then I realized that why can't I do this similar thing with my pain, right? So I started observing my pain without any judgment. I tried to slowly detach the emotions that were coming with along with the pain. So I just observed, focused on the pain, and without any uh, emotions attached to it. So initially it took time, but slowly now what I'm able to do is, at least I'm able to separate that. Even if the pain is there, and suppose I get angry, frustrated with the pain, tired, then I move my attention towards observation. So it helps, because now what happens, the pain is not controlling your emotions, and that's a very big achievement for a chronic pain patient to do.
That's amazing. Can you share a little more about what is the process? Like somebody who is a layman, how can that person do it?
Okay, so basically, I will again suggest that that person should learn the technique of Anapana under a teacher who can guide them, because it might take initial some training to do that. It's not easy, right? Because you are so depressed because of your pain that it becomes very difficult for you to focus, right? So if someone tells you to, okay, forget your pain and just focus on the breathing, you might find it very difficult, enough will task to do. So what I will suggest, it is better to do it under a already an Anapana practitioner or a teacher. So basically, you will have someone with you, so that if you get anxious or worried, they will be there to guide you, support you, right? And this is not a medical treatment. There is nothing fancy about it. It is just observation. So all that person has to do is first master the technique of observation. At least if that person is able to observe their breathing every day for at least 10 minutes also, right? They have understood what observation is. They have that understanding is first necessary, right? That how it works, so that they will be able to, and then once they understand this, they can slowly start observing their pain. And observing means just observing without any emotions attached to it. So when they start, initially they might feel that that desperation, that irritation, that frustration that comes along with the pain, right? But if they focus on the observation, they keep observing without the emotions, then I think they will be able to succeed. And even if the pain is there, right, the emotions that come along with that will go away. So I think this is the process. First, you have to understand how observation works. What is observation, how to observe, and all, and then you focus on your breathing. You master the technique first, slightly. At least I don't say 100%, but even if you achieve 30-40%, that's a miracle. And then you move towards your observing your pain. So, for example, right now I'm that talking to you, I'm actually in pain, my abdomen, and my attention is moving towards the pain. I'm feeling like, should I close this call, right? But now what I do, I shift my
Hmm.
attention towards my abdomen. I just observe it. Okay, it's there, but I'm still able to talk with you because I'm just observing it. But just imagine if the emotions would have still attached to the pain, anger, frustration, irritation, then it would have been very difficult for me to continue this conversation, because I would not have been able to focus. right? So I am able to observe the pain. It is not gone, it is there, but there is no emotion attached to it. So that's the crux of it.
That's quite interesting. How long did it take you to get to that state of Zen?
I can't really say. It is a very slow process. So to be honest, I might not say that I am still able to do it, all the time. It's not possible, right? You might have the feeling of
Hmm.
anger, frustration, but all I'm able to do, since I'm conscious about it, I'm aware about it. Even if suppose some emotion comes, right? Negative emotion of anger, frustration, any kind of emotion, even jealousy can come, whatever can come, right? But I will say that uh, being aware of it, that such an emotion has come, you just register that, right? In Anapana also they teach that when you are breathing, if any emotion comes, whatever thought comes in your brain, you just register it. You don't react to it, just register, okay, such a thought has come. That is what I do. So rather than reacting, I will say, okay, I am getting angry, but I am going to register. And then I'm going to slowly, since I will be again focusing on observing the pain, the thought will go away. And that is a slow process. So I will not say I have succeeded Zen kind of movement, because I feel that takes years and years of meditation practice, which I'm not doing because of my work and my uh, current commitments. But yeah, I think that is possible if someone commits to it.
I think I also understand it a little because I had told you some time back I am
Yeah,
battling chronic pain myself. I
yeah,
was diagnosed with IIH about 3 years back, and life changed completely after that. I was not aware that we can do observation like you have mentioned, and I have been a meditation practitioner since long time in my life, on and off, on and off. Recently, it has been more so towards the journey of trying to be more disciplined in my meditations. And meditation for me is also observation, like you are saying. I had mentioned that the number of tablets that I take, the tablet that generally people have to take in this disease is called diamox. I started with 4 tablets, and now it has gone down to one. My aim is to get it back to zero. That is going to take a little bit more of time, but this practice of observing, not letting the pain hamper the daily life is very important, especially the first few years when I was not aware I was going through this disease. That was painful. I completely resonated with it, Siddhesh, when you mentioned that doctors keep doing tests and tests and tests, but finding out what is the actual diagnosis, it takes a lot of time, lot of energy, and once that eureka moment happens, then you know finally there is something wrong. I was not making it all up. So it what you have mentioned today is going to help me definitely, and I'm sure whoever is listening to us, it
yeah.
will help them also.
I just wanted to add to that what you said. So the interesting part is, when people deny your pain, it actually, they deny your existence, right? So I strongly feel that you should not ignore one should not ignore the pain. Sometimes people might say that you should totally ignore the pain. The pain is there, right? You just have to observe and let it be. And it might go away or be there, but at least you have the, not control, I will say, but you have the power to just look at it without any emotion attached to it. So yeah.
Reaction is in our hand,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So that reminds me, I wanted to know how important it is to be compassionate to oneself, because we when somebody else is going through it, we show compassion, but when we are going through it, we might end up being very strict with us or not at all strict with ourselves. So would you like to comment on it?
Okay, so for me, compassion, uh, not having compassion for oneself is a is a trauma response, which the trauma specialist will call. So if the existence, your childhood existence has gone in, you've been denied of your existence, right? As I said earlier, that suppose you have a pain and people around you start, "Ah, it's nothing." For example, if I have to quote one doctor which I went to, this was a very reputed doctor I went to.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, so according to him, I think he was right in a way by saying that nothing can be done, right? I met few doctors who said, okay, this is a continuous pain and all other diagnosis tests are right. So they call it something called as functional pain, right? Something is wrong in the body, but we can't figure it out. The problem happens when how they make you the victim, or they will say that you have to overcome it, right? Like they will put the ball in your court that you have to do it. So he quoted like, I had one patient who came with no hands, for example, right? And he was no in an
Hmm.
accident, he lost his hands and he was in deep pain. So if they can do it, why can't you, right? So the problem happens when the comparison starts happening, that your pain is lesser than that person's pain, right? So what I feel here is that that you should first of all stop listening to others, right? Compassion starts when you listen to yourself, that what you feel deeply about, what are your concerns, what you understand. And that compassion will only happen when you accept that that pain is there unconditionally without denying. Okay. And compassion doesn't happen when you deny it, okay, why this is happening to me, why I'm suffering, right? So you start blaming yourself for that, when you are not to blame. You have certain illness or disease because of certain natural reasons, environmental reasons, you have that, right? So how are you to blame for the pain? So once you accept this fact that you are not to be blamed for your pain, then compassion can automatically come, because then you empathize with yourself, your condition. Okay, this has happened to me, this is a fact. How I'm going to overcome this, not overcome also, because the pain will be there, but how am I going to live a functional life with this? Because it might affect your job, it might affect your career, it might affect your relationships, right? You will not be able to do many things. So the frustration comes and the anger comes because of this, that you are not able to do many things, and you put all the anger towards yourself, right? So compassion comes when you start accepting that it is not your fault, it is something you have, and you have to live with it. And that's where compassion will come. So unconditional acceptance is something you can practice, that unconditionally accept the pain, unconditionally accept the situation. So yeah.
Unconditional acceptance. Quite intriguing.
Yeah, that's
Huh.
that's from rational emotive behavioral therapy. I learned this technique
Hmm.
where you unconditionally accept everything. So that helps, because if you put conditions to it, why this is happening to me, it should not happen to me, then the frustration and anger comes.
Hmm. Moving out from the victim mindset,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
But the victim mindset with your own power, with by yourself, because the world around you is going to make you a victim, right? Or not even they will also make you the abuser and the abused right? So they will say
Hmm.
you are the reason for your own pain, right?
Hmm.
You're not, it's a natural process, you have to accept that. Even if they say it is psychosomatic is still at the physical level, because brain is physical, right? It is not something metaphysical.
Hmm.
So it's not something that you are imagining that the pain is there. Even if you imagine, suppose the pain is there, it is still physical, because the neurons are physical, they have a dimension there, you can observe them in a microscope. So you can't deny the fact, yeah, that the pain is there. And when I used to get very angry when doctors used to label it as psychosomatic before I was diagnosed, because they had no other clue, right? So they have to give some diagnosis. So that happens, yeah.
Correct. So having that judgment also is very important, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Not having that judgment, basically.
Hmm.
Not not, yeah, not giving, not judging yourself, not judging your pain,
Hmm.
accepting it unconditionally.
Hmm. No, by judgment, I mean having the judgment of when. to be actually understanding whether
Yeah.
you're being diagnosed correctly or not.
Yes, yes, but yeah, that comes with experience,
Hmm.
when you, but it is not easy. I think it, I don't know how it came to me, because it took me years to understand it, realize what is happening around me, how I am being treated by different doctors. I will also say I got very good doctors who sat with me for some. One of the doctors sat with me for 3 hours to understand what is happening, right? And I remember him saying that because I have been misdiagnosed and operated on my lower back by another doctor.
Hmm.
So he said that like many doctors said after that, that L4 L5 in the spine should not be touched, because 85% of the people have compressed spine, because we are evolved that way, right? So this doctor said told me that you should not be touched unless it is a life and death. You should not be cut unless it is a life and death situation,
Oh.
right? So I still remember that please get a second opinion, third opinion if someone asks you to operate. uh,
Hmm. That's a very important takeaway.
yeah.
Getting a second opinion and a third opinion.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't do it. Sometimes it is also because of the expenses involved in that.
Yeah.
But it is life that we are talking about.
Also also we are so desperate, right, to get a cure,
Hmm.
and this desperation can be hacked by few of the doctors who have various other reasons to do such operations. They might be addicted to conducting such operations. There might be other reasons also. But you can uh, at least by, I think, second and third opinion will be less expensive, because
Hmm.
you're rather at least avoiding the surgery, because cutting yourself means you are leaving a scar for lifetime. So
Hmm.
avoiding that will be a better thing, but yeah, if it is necessary, it is necessary.
Correct. So, the approach of observation and meditation that you mentioned, how does it compare to other techniques that you have tried after the diagnosis?
Okay, so for yeah, so for abdomen, there is no technique, in the sense you can't do physiotherapy, you can't have other treatments, the medicines don't work, right, because the nerves are entrapped between the abdomen. But for like a lower back pain, or even fibromyalgia, which I have, you can at least do some stretching, do yoga, do at least or physiotherapy for you know trying to relax the muscles. Or but for abdominal pain, the only thing that works for me is sleep and resting, when the pain is too much. But observation helps me to at least focus. So now I'm able to have this interaction with you without any distraction, because and I'm able to hopefully successfully able to communicate what I feel, because I'm able to observe, right? So yeah, I think I have faced that battle all my life, and I think I'm winning. At least I won, I think, sometimes. Yeah.
I always enjoy your conversations, and before
Thank
you
you.
had told me, I was not even aware that you were going through this. So, that is great that you have found a way that works for you. Any disclaimers for people who might try this approach?
So disclaimer will be that if they start, right, as I said, they might it's best to have some guided, some person to guide you who already does this, or someone to be with you, because it might get too overwhelming to just focus on observe your breath, right, or observe your pain. So if it's better to not do it alone initially. That's one. Second, it is not something magic. It worked for me, so I will not say that it might work for you. But it is, there is no harm in doing this, because there is nothing, you're not having any medicine, you're not doing anything stretching, you're just observing, like you can, like you observe a tree, right? It's simple as that. But the disclaimer I will say that if you are battling, going through some depression which is very chronic, and then I will suggest that you better take, uh, you know uh, go to a psychiatrist, have a diagnosis. Better to take medical advice if it is your depression is severe because of the pain. uh, so with that help, along with observation, you will might be able to conquer the pain.
Wow. Thank you, Siddhesh. It was mind blowing to hear your story and your journey, and lots of love and lots of happy energies to you. I hope our talk will benefit somebody who is going through this. If you want to reach out to any of us, our links are in the session below, so please reach out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha, for hosting this. Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you as always.